Having a good time so far? Awesome. Got your seatbelts on? This is going to be a fun presentation. No pressure, LCI. So we're going to just go another 2 minutes. We have the live stream going to the tents, but I don't think they get the free giveaway. I think LCI is going to give away a brand new air conditioner. I'm kidding. Look at it. Got you off guard. Okay, as we get started with this stuff, appreciate you guys coming here on time. We got a couple of the IT links taken care of, so the streaming should be working. Did anyone see the stream earlier today in any of the tents? Did it work?
It worked at the park tent.
It did?
Just previous to this.
Awesome. So I did something right. I did, wait. The computer did something right. Where it goes from here, it's up to you. So I'm going to pass it on to Craig with the LCI. He's going to talk about what they're doing. Then we'll have another microphone. They're going to pass around for questions. And after that, when we clear out of here, we have to disinfect everything. We just had the room disinfected for you guys. So if there's anything sticky on the floor, it's not me. So, all right, Craig, it's all yours. I'm going to turn the microphone up. Got to kind of hold it close to my mouth.
I'm a loud talker. Awesome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Maintenance, leveling, and slides, right? Good. Not how to make an apple pie or anything like that. We're at the right show. Perfect. Well, my name is Craig Jockum. I'm with Lippert, and we're really excited to have you guys here for this seminar. In a few short moments, I'll be introducing to you our speaker for this event. But before we do that, I've got a couple of announcements for you guys. And one of them is actually quite exclusive. You guys are the first ones to hear about this one, so you're in for a treat. So Team Lippert over the last year has been working extremely hard trying to figure out what can we do better. And so we've decided to create a new department called Customer Experience. And our full-time job is to focus on our customers and ask them, what can we do better? Tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're not doing right. We use this for product improvement as well as just understanding the RV lifestyle better. It's no secret that some of our designers and engineers, they're not campers, but you guys are. So who else better to learn from than you guys? So the way we connect with campers today is a handful of ways. But the first way we do that is through a program called Lippert. So that's great. Lippert Scouts is sitting at about 900 members right now. And these are die-hard, very loyal product testers, feedback givers. Their ideas have already affected some of our product lines, and we've already put that into our product teams. And so that is one way to connect with campers, and we'll be asking anyone who RVs and has something to say about it to join Lippert Scouts, the community, in a few weeks. So the second way we connect with campers is through a new initiative called the Campground Project. And your speaker today is the host of the Campground Project, where he will be traveling the country, visiting campgrounds, hosting town hall type sessions to ask feedback on product, RV lifestyle, just bringing it to the campground, getting in the trenches with you guys. So we're very blessed and fortunate to have Bob, and I'll be we'd love to see you at that campground and just help support one another and be a part of that community. So let's get to what we were here for, leveling in slides. Bob TG is your speaker today, and Bob is quite the RV industry veteran. He is the inventor of Level Up, which many of you probably are familiar with. He also holds many patents of other marine and RV products. He is your host of the Campground Project, and yeah, you guys are in for a treat. Oh, and he's a Marine. All right, let's do it, Bob.
This is amazing. 6 weeks ago, I have a small farm in northern Indiana. Minding my own business because of COVID, nobody was allowed to come to the farm. Today that are going to revolutionize the RV industry. You're good? Yeah, okay, sorry. I got it. When Jason Lippert came to me and he said, Bobby, I need to put you on the road for 4 to 6 months a year. I said, really? I'm down here on the farm, I'm retired. He goes, no. He said, you're going to go to the campgrounds and you're going to talk about the RV lifestyle, because we've got so many rookies out there now buying RVs that don't even know what a black and a gray water tank is. So I said, I need to get you out there and you talk to them. So I said, okay, what kind of venue? Oh, he said, be fireside. Maybe 15, 20 people. Well, this is my baptism. First time. I think, I don't know how many you're familiar with Burning Man, but that's what this is, composed to 15 or 20 at a campsite. So, Level Up. By the way, if you have a grand designed unit, I support you. Because I developed the electric and I developed the hydraulic leveling system. And I know the Fennick brothers, Don Clark, his wife Audrey, longtime friends, go way back. I've been, my first camping experience is 1963. Now, I was hardly getting, that's not the truth, I was in the Marines at that time, in Vietnam, by the way. And so, the program, he said, I said, I'm not going out there to sell things. I'm a good salesman. But I said, I'm not going out to sell things, I'm going out to teach. And I want to teach the safety, I want to teach about Lippert. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Lippert does about 2.5 billion in sales a year. Yet when we did a survey a couple months ago, only 30% of all RV owners knew who Lippert was. Hopefully, with this beginning here, with you out here in your health, everybody in the RV industry is going to know who Lippert is. I taught hydraulics for the industry for the first 15 years. I taught over 2,500 techs all over the country, from Bar Harbor to San Diego, from Key West to Whistler Blackcomb. So I've covered the states. 1.275 million miles in mostly in my fifth wheel. I have a 38-foot DRV unit that I created the first one. So I had 0500. That was the very first one off the production line. And all of the, it's got so many holes in it because we kept changing and upgrading the systems. I will tell you this, something that the grand design people can rest assured, the performance of the Level Up system. It's the only product, and you see Lippert's catalogs is thick, the only product that's never had a revision. The day we launched it is the day it was today. No changes at all. Because it came out that I don't like trip interrupters. I don't like getting a phone call saying, and I might say this wrong, so it's kind of embarrassing, I can't get my jack up. Okay, well, not my problem, but anyway, so if you take that and then marry it into the Swintech slide rooms, Mike Swindeman, lifelong friend, came to me one day and he said, I got this idea that we can run these rooms out at 4 points instead of just pushing at the bottom. I said, well, you got to run with it. You got to do that. The only thing about it is it didn't have any hydraulics in it. So, but I forgave him, and that's the epitome of slide rooms today, is that particular design. They do have a trouble with really, really big rooms. And the reason that we went with 6 point is to be able to rely on the sidewalls and the chassis itself in order to protect the leveling experience. However, what happened, the room got so big, the big openings, created issues with the chassis. The chassis got out. We started going through gear packs on it. So that's when I said, going across I-10 one time, headed for Quartzsite. I said, when I get there, I just want to push a button. And I want it to level itself. And I don't want any worries about it. So it was designed there. Start to finish, the level up system was created in 9 months, which is unbelievable in the industry to create something that fast and have it work so well on it. And I'm an RVer. I'm out there every night with you folks. Somebody in this audience right here, and now this is being live streamed to China. I just got to make sure, because they're over there taking notes. Yeah, Joe, you know. I know this because I spend a lot of time in China going through. They really still can't spell hydraulics, so I have to go over there and kind of guide them a little bit on how to do it. So, but the issue that we had was the first motors, the pumps. By the way, if I use proper nomenclature for hydraulics, so I try to, what they call, dumb it down, Bob, so people understand. To me, it's a power unit. To you, it's a pump, okay? But a power unit, the difference is got a motor, center section, reservoir. That's all put together, we call it a power unit, okay? So, you know, I still get these phone calls talking about my pump won't do this or won't do that. I can tell you this. There has never been a troubleshooting call that I haven't resolved, knew what caused it, within 5 minutes. And I'm going to share something with you. Let me just see a show of hands. How many people today have used hydraulics? 50%. None of you took a shower. None of you brushed your teeth. None of you flushed the toilet. That's all hydraulics. Okay? It's just simple. And just think about it. There's no, I barely got out of high school. So I don't have any degrees except USMC, of course. And I said to even techs, you used hydraulics today? And you get maybe 20 of them in a class, and 2 or 3 will say, yeah, I used my brakes. I had hydraulic brakes. But nobody took a shower. Okay. But that's as simple as that. You're going to turn your room, you're going to lower your jacks, you open a valve just like you would if you're going to brush your teeth, and flow comes out. Someplace in town, there's either a pump or a big tower. Like in my little town, there's a big tower. So that puts the pressure in there, so when you open the valve, it comes out. Okay, same thing with the hydraulics. Should never be concerning unless, I'll tell you a little thing that happened in Arizona. Just a quick story. Oh, by the way, put your thinking caps on. I'm going to give away, this is my newest invention. This right here took 3 months to develop. Okay? This here is a pressure washer gun. Okay, very simple, looks like normal pressure washer gun. well balanced. The big difference is I don't need no power because I got it right there. 600 PSI. Why 600? Because I did a lot of studies with little pressure compensated valves, and I got to the point where I knew 600 PSI would get the bugs off my windshield. So that's how it came about. I'm gonna give one of these away in this meeting. And I'm sorry about the people that are not here and the people in China. Here's the question. Everybody knows Grand Design. By the way, I did the first 5 Grand Design units, setting the hydraulic stuff on it. And I also pulled the first Grand Design unit. It was snowy, it was cold. Nobody else wanted to pull that unit. I said, look, I get my little 350 Ford in here. I'll pull it all over the place. And by the way, you Dodge guys, just stay aside. Okay, I got something for you too. Does anybody know that there was a name before Grand Design? Anybody know that? There's a big crowd, you're all Grand Design. You don't know that there was another name when Grand Design first started? There's no fire check on the internet. Well, you don't count. You overheard my conversation in the parking lot.
But not the answer.
Whoever comes up with that answer, I give that to him. To God. And if we have a tie, I do have a backup. And it comes with 2 batteries. The batteries last about, on full pressure, about 25 minutes. And you don't need a water source. Just take this here and drop it into a bucket of water. It sucks it up, and you go walk around your coach and wash it. Same thing when you get to a truck stop. Just take it over and put it in their little blue stuff, and it'll get your bugs off your windshield. Oh. So, enough about me. Okay, we got somebody that, oh, she's looking at her phone. Look at that. Hey, ma'am, excuse me, but if you're going to be like that, don't be looking down at your phone. Look up. You know, put it out to the side so you can see it over here, you know. What is it? No. No. The Fennick brothers and them, they came out with Thor, which is Keystone. I know all these people, the floor plans and everything, because in 1978 I took a Cremo bread truck that had been decommissioned, tore the body off of it, had a friend rebuild the 327 Chevy in it, and laid out a floor plan on it. My first experience with building my own RV. So, nobody got it yet. Okay. Uh-oh.
No, we're not allowed to say the name of another RV, so how can we answer the question?
Oh, it's the same. It's the same company. But it wasn't Grand Design in the beginning. They changed. Yes, ma'am. No, but that's a great answer. I'll give you a hint. There's an animal's name in it. Okay. All right, we'll move on. Let me open it up to questions. I'll do the best I can with it and try to break it down so you understand. I'm a hydromechanical engineer, so I do a lot of things mechanically and think that way. So, any questions? Yes, sir.
If you have an emergency on the side of the highway, is it okay to use the jacks to change the tire? If it's an emergency, to lift the one side up?
Okay, question is, can you use the hydraulic jacks to change the tire? The answer is yes. You can. Don't tell anybody I told you that. You got to block it up if you're going to get up underneath. But changing the tire is no problem. I have a picture. It just happens to be of a Heartland unit. It's 18 inches in the air, completely underneath, because when I went into the dealership, the guy said, we're changing the axles. You got here just in time. I go out there, and here's this thing. It's this high. And there's no other stands underneath of it. I didn't say that I thought tips were good, but they're not. Thanks sometimes, okay? So, question was, can you change tires with it? Absolutely, you can. Yes, sir.
Does that apply to the electric lift stuff? What was the question?
The question is, does that apply to an electric system? I wouldn't do it, okay? They're smaller, first of all, okay? The hydraulic jacks are very robust. By the way, we build them. We build 1,200 jacks a day. Both 8K, which is on your rear, and the 14K, that's on the front. Somebody answered that question for me. I was testing you. Actually, I forgot.
She just thought of something. Go ahead, tell them what you said. No, tell them.
I said, is it Winnebago? Because Winnie is Winnie the Pooh.
Oh. She said it's Winnebago. No, no. By the way, which is part of Thor now, anyway. Okay. Oh, no, wait a minute. You guys.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
So is it Black Bear RV LLC?
Now that's cheating. That is correct. That gentleman gets the gun. Black Bear RV LLC, and boy, as soon as ever the industry heard that, they went, you know, in Grand Design. What a wonderful name, because it is a grand design, by the way. I love their floor plans. I loved them in the beginning. Don Clark and I went round and round at the Louisville show almost every year, and I said I want a front kitchen, I want a front living room. Next thing I know, they would come out with one. Some of them were took and some of them didn't. Okay, more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Some of us, which is like 2017, 376, only have tablets to run our slides, our jacks, and things like that. Do you find that you have more problems with the tablets versus the ones that have the buttons that are made on like the wall of the kitchen when you go in, like your control center? It's concerning that we're somewhere and I don't have anything but a computer to run my systems versus buttons on the wall to do that. Do you have anything you could say or add to that might help?
I think your question is why is there no buttons on the wall? I have.
All of them and backup if nothing else.
Oh, to have a backup? You know, that's more on Grand Design's issue rather than if they would ask us for it. And by the way, yes, there is. I don't know if you knew this, but if you do have hydraulics, you can run it without a battery. How many know that? Okay, got some tech guys in here. So you just take a screw gun, like a Makita 18 volt, 1 or 24, a little hole in the back of the motor, and you can just push that gun in there, and then on the end of the valve is a little black thing sticking out of the pump. There's a 5/16 Allen head that you open that valve up, so whatever you want to run, I don't know if they do hydraulic rooms or not, but if you want to run your jacks and get them up or run them down, you can do that. Yes, sir.
I'm totally ignorant. I mean, I know the RV leveling system exists. I'm totally ignorant of it. Can you give us some background, or if I'm the only one in here, ignore the question. But I just want to know a little more about it. Is it an add-on? Is it something you buy brand new? Or as I said, I'm just totally ignorant of it. I see what I assume you're speaking of on other units. Beyond seeing it, that's the extent I know about it.
Okay, the question is, he's kind of naive about the procedures. Does it come on OEM units? I believe that every Grand Design, especially the the first 2 or 3 years, every single one of them had that level up system on it. Sorry?
My RV is a 75th location, and hydraulics, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, you can. Let me just explain real quick. In 2008 is when I got the patent. So we started doing aftermarket installs. Well, the OEMs got so mad at me because what was happening, it was a little tight back then, 08 and 09. And they were saying, well, wait a minute, you can't do that because we want people to buy new units with the level up on it. And if for $4,500, you can get a level up system added to your coach. And so I got a little bit of hot water, but being a Marine, I weathered it, no problem. And so the answer is yes, you can add it. I'm not so sure that they would use the same. Well, if you don't have level up, you don't have hydraulics. So you need the whole kit. But yes, it can be done. And by the way, I can do it in 4 hours. Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. Took a lady to ask that, by the way. But that. She asked maintenance on it. We use ATF, at least we recommend it. It's, I'm trying to get the industry to go to a biodegradable, but they're a little reluctant. It's a little more costly. You may have to cycle it more often but using the ATF, you change your oil every 3,000-4,000 miles, depending on your vehicle. You change your ATF 50,000 miles. So we really think it should not be necessary to. The other question that I get asked sometimes, can I filter it? Well, it's already filtered, but it's internal to the system. And it would be very expensive for us to do it because we use a birotational pump. The pump, in other words, pumps fluid this way, and when you reverse the switch, it pumps this way. Well, that makes both sides high pressure. Well, I'm just going to guess, maybe $100 for a high pressure filter versus the one you're going to have to Napa buy for $15. So, it's a great question, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, sir.
If you have loose fluid, is it self-bleeding? You have to bleed this if you have to service it?
Up until 2 years ago, the answer was yes. So I finally got tired of the techs, even though you train them. They sleep at night, the next morning you got to retrain them. Okay, so I finally said to them, look, I got to have a self-purging pump. And because the way that a birotational pump works, it takes the fluid, it's hydrostatic, it takes the fluid from one side of the cylinder, takes it through the pump, and puts it on the other side of the cylinder, never goes back to the pump. So it never gets filtered. So what we did now, we made that change 2 years ago, so everything you have then on. But before that, unless you see a lot of really discoloration in there, there is a way that you can bleed it. Stop by my site. It's CN26, and I'll walk through the details. Did you have another?
I told her to remember the site, I won't.
Oh, okay. He's getting like me, by the way. Sean. Okay, way in the back. Can you use your mic? Yeah, okay.
Got it. Sometimes I get an error in my when I'm setting it up, and it forces me to go inside to reset it. So why didn't they put a reset button on the panel on the door on the outside for one? Or I can use my phone to do it. Or I go around and disconnect my battery and turn it back on and it'll fix the error. The other thing I read about it was there's a 50 amp fuse, and sometimes it'll take an 80 amp fuse. I should replace it with an 80 amp fuse so it doesn't power out, I guess. Is that something that you heard of? Because I get it every once in a while, it'll error out, and I have to reset it.
Yeah. And that's a great question. The reason you have to reset it, and I'm glad you asked that, thank you. The reason you have to red set it, if you understand, you know, the ladder that the algorithm's right, it goes from this yes or no to this yes or no, you know, yes or no, and so on. Well, if someplace errors out, like auto stroke or elevation difference, it can't level in this plane. By the way, you want to come by CN26, I'll tell you how you can do that and fool the system. I can't say that in public. And China's going to listen. So anyway, getting back to you answering your question, in order to get that algorithm stuck on one of those steps, you have to turn off the power and let it redo itself. Now, here again, it goes back to the manufacturers. It's, you know, a cost adder, you run more wire. There's also the chance that somebody could mistakenly hit that thing. So it's a little bit of protection for yourself to make it. It's like keeping your beer way away from you, so you get tired of going back and forth on it, so you don't drink as much. Well, that's not true, is it? Not with this crew over here. So, but good question. Thanks for asking that. All right, you have your turn to say.
Is it ever advisable to partially open your slides? Say you're at a rest stop, you want to get back to the refrigerator, you got on your highway. You just open up to the point where you get a pathway through, or is that a no-no?
No, you can do that. Let me tell you a little experience. I could tell you these experiences. So you get a couple glasses of wine in me, and I'll give you some really good ones. I was delivering in Funtown down in Florida. I was delivering a DRV unit, and that's where all the circus people go in the wintertime. And so I was delivering this unit, and I always stop, like at a truck stop or everything, get in the unit, make sure everything is okay on it. And because I know the people real well, I said, well, I'm going to use the restroom because the place I stopped wasn't the best in the place. So I go in there. Well, guess what happened? It's not level. The door wouldn't open. And I'm thinking, well, who can I call? I don't know anybody in here being able to do it. I had no tools on me. And I was like, I'm hung up here. I don't know what the heck to do on it. So I jiggled. Finally, I was able to get it loose. So, but you can run the room out. Just be careful. If you're parked on an incline that's 15 degrees, you got to be reasonable about it. But yeah, I do it all the time. I do it. That's fine. Yes, sir.
I have the hydraulic system on my outfit, as most people do. It's a 2020, and I noticed it was making a lot of noises in the front, depending on the climate changes. So I ended up adding one of the alternatives that you guys did, the cat, I think.
Yep.
And now occasionally, when it sits for a while before my trick, and I pull the hydraulics, just the front hydraulics, I hear a loud on one side or the other, like a cylinder popping up. What could that mean?
Wow.
Not all the time, just occasionally.
Yeah. I'd almost have to hear it.
Up, or?
I don't. I mean, something's mechanical happened. That can't be the hydraulics are just smooth, and you know it's going to come up and down. The popping sound. Oh my gosh! I chase that popping sound. Yeah. Thank you very much for that testimonial, by the way. Here's how it got solved. I mean, I went to Temecula, by the way. It wasn't a bad place to lay. So, and they got all those wineries out there. You know. So anyway, I'm laying under these units and running. I want to hear it. And you don't hear nothing. In Temecula, the temperature during the day on the side of the coach was 126 degrees. And at night, it was like 72. So it's a huge difference in it. Guess what? The rooms would expand a little bit, and then they would come back down. The other thing that happened in some of the smaller units, and the floors are a little thinner, when the couple would walk on the floor, the HVAC, you know, now they've gone to a different style, but you could hear the popping sound when they were running. And The one that was the most challenging was the couple that was sleeping in the upper deck, and they said, this thing wobbles all over the place. And I said, okay, I'm gonna come see you because we've done something wrong. We tried to pitch them out 5 degrees on it, kind of give them a little stability. Each one of them weighed over 400. I was like, okay, I got to do something special for your unit here to be able to do it. And it ended up, it was kind of funny, they laughed about it too, but we made some corrections for them. Spaced it out a little bit longer on it, moved the jacks that were in front of the tires up forward a little bit, gave them more stability up in the front. So we can resolve issues, we just need to know about them. Yeah. Here's what the dilemma I had for those 9 months. And it's called the harmonics that goes through the reverberation of the steel. That thing could be caused someplace else, but you really don't hear it until it gets up here. It's the harmonics of it, So I would have to listen to it, to be honest with you, to resolve it. Now, how we came to add that solution, he said, that's called fork oil, by the way, more popular for motorcycle people. I was talking to a friend of mine, he's an engineer at Piper Aircraft, and I was just saying, he said, how's it going, Bobby? I said, I can't solve this popping problem. He said, what popping problem? I said, well, on the hydraulics, when it sits over overnight. Oh, he said, that's easy, just add some fork oil in there. I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, Piper Aircraft. He said, we get that complaint all the time. So then I got the people at John Deere, and I contacted. And they said, oh yeah, that'll happen because the bore of a cylinder is not smooth. It's got little bumps, and you can't see it. Rub your finger on, you can't see it. But it captures air. And that's what the popping sound was. When the temperature starts changing, when you're moving around inside the coach. We never had one that lost power or dropped more than 1/8 of an inch on it. That's why it was so hard for me to finally find it out. But we finally did, and I think we've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now. Question, okay.
Sir, I have a Momentum 351, and I just was wondering, on the hydraulics in the middle, like every time people will stop me and ask me, they'll say, hey, are those down? They go one way? And it's the center ones on mine, they're really low. So when I take a turn, I have to be really careful of hitting them. Are there a reason why they're so low in the center? Is that something that between Grand Design and Lippert that maybe they're adjusting it to 2020? I don't know.
We give recommendations on where to mount. We don't mount the cylinders, the manufacturers do on it, and it's the attack angle in the back, and I think everybody can understand that. You take the lowest point on the back and you go to the tire on the back. And you can't have anything below that. And so what we always try to say is make those two even. Make that back one even with the front one. The other thing that people started violating right away because you couldn't put the jack exactly across from each other on it. So I went back and with my own unit and moved them around so that I could understand. The only theory that is reality is the front 2 jacks have to be farther apart than the back 2 because there's a fulcrum point there and it'll confuse the sensor that's in there. But you can offset the centers up to 18 inches and it does a good job. You cannot offset the front, you cannot offset the back on it. But I wouldn't be concerned. They're good people. I know the people real well, the Grand Design in their PDI department and thing, and if there was an issue, they'd be making some changes. Okay, I got another one over here. And see how good I am? I answered that and you didn't even ask it. Okay, yes ma'am.
We told it on Wednesday, 2 of our jacks on one side were partially down, and they were up on the left. What causes that? What has happened before?
one of the RV techs from Lippert. Did you get that? We got to get somebody over to their coach because when they came in, their one side was down. It shouldn't. It shouldn't do that now. We'll get somebody over to you.
I'll see you when you're done, I'll get you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
When I go to do auto level on mine, and this happens a lot, it always picks up two wheels. And it doesn't here, it's auto level about an inch, these sides are fairly level. And mine, my front jacks are always higher than the rest of them. Like on my steps, I'm always bottoming out the steps, and I put boards underneath them, so my steps will be down. So I mean, I don't know if it's that it's not zeroed out, but it's always picking the wheels up on one side.
It really shouldn't do that as long as the ground is pretty much level.
I'm in one of these sites here.
Okay. Yeah, and these sites here are pretty good. So can you?
Yeah, I'm on the list.
Oh, okay, that's good. And by the way, I want to know the result of that there, because that question's come up before on it. Others? Way back.
I'm gonna go now, if it's okay. I'm curious if we can do a recalibration on an auto level itself.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
After I do auto level, I'm not level left to right. I'm about an inch out. And is there a recalibration I can do myself? Is that
Yes. Yeah, and we'll send a tech by. Come up and we'll send a tech by to show you how to do it. It's very simple. Very simple. Yes, sir.
Okay, I level mine out, and I put out the spot. Can you re-level it? Because sometimes it doesn't seem like it's level out.
You can relevel.
No problem.
Yeah. No. I would recommend this. Bring your back jacks up a little bit and lower and raise your front jacks just a little bit, like you just took it off a truck. You don't have to bring them all the way up, but just kind of cheat. Bring them up an inch, and then it'll go back and it'll do it really fast. But yes, you can with your rooms out. By the way, I don't know if you've seen my chariot sitting over there. It's completely reversed of what you do when you send your rooms out and level. I have to send my rooms out first and then level. The reason being, it's inset. It's not outside. The tolerances are too tight, so I have to run it out. Yes, ma'am.
When we first got here, we were fairly level, and now we are not, and I feel like I'm on a boat, and we're gonna topple over. And also, Michael doesn't think it's that bad, but I mean, it's definitely, I put the level there, and it's definitely worse. So I don't know if, should we, like, and also too.
No, ma'am. You don't do anything. We'll come to you. Okay.
We don't have hydraulics, we don't have those automatic systems, they're just mechanical.
Well. Now, wait a minute here. Hey, $4,000? I'll put you on it. Okay. All right. Let's send somebody by. See the young lady, and then we'll send somebody by to take a look at that. Okay.
One of my slides were squeaking, but they have never squeaked before. And when I put the slide out, it was squeaking like crazy. I've
Okay.
never heard squeaking.
Okay. We need to take a look at it. I don't want you to get someplace else and then have a problem. We got techs here that know the answers to that. Was there? Yes, sir.
I got the 4-point electric 3.0 control system. Seems the level fine and auto level, and I have a bubble there in the basement, and it looks level. You go inside the coach. My ball tells you it's not level.
Okay.
It always seems like it's down a degree or more on the left front corner. Any ideas?
Okay, he's got an outside bubble that indicates it's level. He's got an inside bubble that says it's not. When I first started teaching about the level up system back in 08 and 09, a question came up a lot. What is level? Well, to me, level is, I want my eggs to be in the center of the pan. Well, if my eggs are in the center of the pan, the refrigerator door is going to open. So that's not the leveling system, that's an adjustment on the equipment inside of it. So I can understand if the two bubbles are off. You can determine what you want level to be. There are some people that like actually their bed on one side to be a little higher because they have that reflex, I guess they call it. Some of it, look at all the old people. So, other questions?
On the slide, the major slide in the living room, when it comes in or goes out, it seems like there's some material left on the floor. It's like it feels sticky.
We better, why don't you see it and we'll bring somebody out. That's kind of a new one on me. You gotta remember, we're going across the little threshold and we've got a fulcrum point there. The room's weighing 1,000 pounds and it's going down the road doing this all the time. They've strengthened them up. They've learned a lot. I would have to say Grand Design is on top of their game.